Hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So the World Cup is over, sadly so. But yeah, it was a really great tournament, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though India, you know, got out from the tournament earlier than we would have liked. But anyway, the good thing from an Indian fan or neutral fan's point of view is that we have a new winner of the World Cup. Australia won this T20 ICC T20 Men's World Cup for the first time. Good on them. But in this video, we are not going to talk about Australia. We are going to talk about the runners-up, New Zealand, who have been the runners-up in this tournament, 2019, 2015. So you can understand. One can understand if they find it difficult to digest. They find this loss difficult to digest. But I think like every other time they handle their loss very gracefully. At least in front of the public eye, they handle it very gracefully, and I think they are very professional team. I think well led team, and you can see Kane's personality rubbing off to some other players. So yeah, I think that was kind of my take, or me feeling sorry for New Zealand, which I shouldn't, because they have done really well to get to the final of this World Cup, right? And a lot of factors, a lot of good things that they did in the tournament. So let's talk about those things first. So they got the balance right. Like that is a very big factor, and probably understated a bit by many cricket experts. You will see them talking, why can't you have just six pure batsmen and and five pure bowlers, because your bowlers always need to bowl 20 overs. All of them will need to bowl 4 overs, and many times your number 7, number 8 doesn't get to bat. So why, or on an average they bat 5 6 balls, so why we need extra batting depth? Or why we talk about the balance, why don't we go with the specialist? Well, the fact is that the number 5, number 6, they bat well, when you know that at number 7, number 8, like we have some batting. Similarly, your main bowlers can take more risk if they know that they have some extra bowling options. So the balance is one of the most crucial thing in T20. You can see it from uh, throughout the history of T20, right? You will always see that the team with better balance generally wins the cup, because balance gives you more option, right? And T20 is a format where you want to take risk, and for you to take risk, you should be freed up. You should be freed up from the pressure. You shouldn't be worried about what if I get out. And it's very natural. You can't inculcate that into a player, that it doesn't matter if you get out or not. Everyone is not that brave, and even if someone is brave, like, people are responsible, right? They are international cricketers. So uh, balance is very important, and they got it right. And boy, like, they got the balance. I think they were over balanced actually. If you look at it, they had 8 bowling options, right? Five bowlers who will give you 4 overs any day. They didn't in the finals, but still, in general, you can count on Shodhi, Santner, Mill, Saudi, and Bolt to give 5 overs any day. And then they had Jimmy Neesham, who is a proper all rounder. And then they had Darry Mitchell, who is also a very good all rounder. They didn't ball him throughout the tournament, but he's a great all rounder. Not great, but like, he is a good all rounder. He is probably as good a bowler as Hardik Pandya in the death overs, especially. So they uh, they had so many options that they didn't need to use him. And then they had Glenn Phillips, who can bowl an over or two if needed. So 8 bowling options is good. And then they also had batting depth. So they had Santner batting at 7, who hits a long ball. And then they have Saudi and Mill, and then Ishodi. So these three also are decent, right? Not Saudi. We know that he hits a long ball. I think he has the record of hitting a lot of sixes in Test matches. So, but in general, he is a good hitter, Saudi, and the other folks as well, Mill and Shodi. So they can also hit. So they got the balance absolutely right, and I think that was a very key factor in them reaching the final. Then the other point is that they were very professional. They always focused on the job at hand. They didn't get too ahead of themselves, and I think the fact that we treat them as underdog, and we, you know, there is not a burden of expectation from them, and they are not afraid to actually take on any team. Uh, though some would say they probably have some mental frailty against Australia, but still, I believe that they play the ball, or not the baller, so to say. So they are not worried about the opposition. They are very professional. They like to be in the moment, and their captain leads by example in terms of the attitude and what he brings on the table. So really professional. I think that is key in winning or going distance in the big tournament. The other two factors which doesn't get mentioned is that they have some good hitters. So Jimmy Nisham and Glenn Phillips, like these are good hitters. Glenn Phillips, like you might have seen a lot of times in the in the coverage, that Glenn Phillips has hit most sixes in across T20 circuit. Uh, I know international is slightly different and all those things, but still he is a good hitter, and so is Jimmy Nisham. Like Jimmy Nisham has done it from quite some time. He in the World Cup final 2019, he hit Jofra Archer for such a big six. I mean, he has hit. I have seen him hitting Bumrah for a six. So he is a clean hitter, and like we all saw what he did against Jordan in the England match. So they have good finishing capabilities as well, which probably we tend to underestimate a bit about New Zealand. And then they are a good fielding side. So another big factor in a T20 match is 5-10 runs. Let's say team save, like just a simple logic, if a team saves 10-15 runs uh, in the by fielding, then they have to score half more than half run less each over. So you can think how big a factor it is, and they got all of these things right. So that was I will say, you know uh, these were some of the reasons why I think that they do well, and they did well in this tournament. Now let's talk about key finds for New Zealand. So I think Darry Mitchell as an opener, that is one obvious find, because he didn't really bat at that number ever. So he is a good find, obviously. Apart from that, I think they have a pretty established team, and the fact that they have a dearth of resources, it means that they stick to the team. Like you don't have many options to go around, and I think that works well for them, right? They player know their role, and they just look to perform as per the requirement for the team. So not many finds, I would say. Devon Conway, he has actually been good in the T20 international earlier. Like if you have been following New Zealand cricket, so in last 1 year he has played quite a few T20s, and he has been good. It's just that he has not really hit a century, or a 15 balls, 18 balls, or 50. So like he doesn't get noticed that much, but he's a good player of spin. So I wouldn't say Devon Conway as a find of this World Cup, but yeah, I think he is going to be at number 4 for quite some time. Just the way he plays the spinners. New Zealand earlier tried Tom Latham due to the same reason, because he plays the spinners well. But now I think Devon Conway is going to be there, at least for some time. Then let's talk about things that they need to worry about a little bit, and things they need to work on, right? So I think their death bowling was not actually that good, and that was one weakness that never got exposed until the finals. Also not in the finals actually, because in the finals also, the match was done before 15th overs, almost done before 15th over, but still, I think their death bowling is not that good. I would say it's slightly below average actually. They did well throughout the tournament, because they picked wicket at top, and that meant that often teams didn't have enough power left to go hard at the end. So they manage that pretty well, but I think if a good team gets hold of them, I think they don't have many options in the death. They missed Lockie Ferguson, who I think is their best uh, T20 bowler, especially at death. He I think is you know better than Trent Bolt as well. Trent Bolt is second in the list. Trent Bolt has improved quite a bit, in the by playing just IPL, and I think he just plays IPL in terms of other T20 tournaments, but he has improved quite a bit, and he has been given that role of bowling at death at Mumbai Indians, earlier at Delhi, and he has not been that impressive in death actually in IPLs, but he has stepped up for New Zealand, so he was their best death bowler throughout the tournament. Milne and Saudi, I don't think they are great death bowlers, because Saudi, I have never really seen him bowling, you know, amazingly at death. So, like you saw when Asif Ali took him down, and then in the finals as well. So I don't think Saudi is a great death bowler. So they will have to look for options there in the death bowling. I think they will do well to develop some depth in their death bowling. And the second factor, which I think is not a big worry, but maybe they need to kind of think about it, is Martin Guptil's form. I think not just this World Cup, but in general, uh, he has not been himself of late. I think he has not been the Martin Guptil that we know, the clean striker that we know. I think, and I believe they will stick to him, and I believe they will get best out of him, because that's what New Zealand are known for. But and they have a lot of options. So Tim Sa- uh, Tim Seifert can can open. Devon Conway can open. Kane Williamson can open. They put Derry Mitchell as well, so they have a lot of options at the as an opener, as well as at opening position. They have a lot of depth. They have Tom Latham, who is again a good player. Mark Shapeman, so they have a lot of players actually, who can open. But I think they will stick to Guptill because he is such a big player for them. He has been a huge player for them since last in the last decade. So I think they will stick to him, but his form is a bit of worry. So that were all the points that I wanted to highlight. Mm. I think well played New Zealand. I'm sure they will be disappointed, but I think they should hold their heads high, because they have done well in this tournament with the resources that they have. They are a really serious team, and we shouldn't take them as underdogs anymore, especially in the ICC tournaments. So thank you everyone for watching, and please share your thoughts, your feedback through comments. Uh, Thank you everyone. Bye bye.